I will never look at the Leaning Tower of Pisa the same way after learning this. You know, most of us see it as just a quirky, beautiful accident, a happy architectural mistake that somehow became one of the world's most famous landmarks. But what's truly mind-blowing is the story of how it was saved, and the wild, almost magical engineering that went on behind the scenes. Most people think it just stands there defying gravity, but the real magic is what's hidden underground. Beneath the marble arches and iconic tilt, there's a secret world of soft clay, shifting sand, and centuries of human ingenuity. The ground beneath Pisa is a patchwork of ancient river deposits, clay, sand, and shells, making it a wobbly, unpredictable foundation for any building, let alone a 14,500-ton stone tower. Here's how engineers saved history, with a twist. And not just any twist, but a literal one, as the tower's lean became both its curse and its claim to fame. The rescue mission was a blend of science, creativity, and a little bit of luck, all coming together to pull off what many thought was impossible. Okay, quick history. Pisa's famous tower started leaning even before it was finished, thanks to wobbly ground and a not-so-perfect foundation. Construction began in 1173, and by the time they reached the third story, the whole thing was already tilting. The builders tried to compensate by making one side taller than the other, but that just made the tower curve like a banana. Over the next 2 centuries, construction stopped and started, with each new generation hoping the ground would settle. Spoiler, it didn't. For centuries, it just kept leaning. By 1990, it was tilting so badly they had to close it to the public. Imagine the heartbreak. One of Italy's most beloved icons, suddenly off limits, fenced off like a fragile relic. Tourists could only gaze from afar, while experts worried that the next big storm or earthquake might send it toppling for good. Engineers basically went, guys, this thing is about to fall over. The situation was urgent. The tower was leaning at a terrifying 5.5 degrees, so much that the top was displaced by over 15 feet from where it should have been. The world watched as teams of experts from all over the globe gathered in Pisa, determined to save the tower without destroying its unique character. So how do you fix a world-famous mistake without erasing its charm? That was the million-dollar question. The challenge was to stabilize the tower, but not straighten it completely. After all, nobody wants a perfectly upright Tower of Pisa. The lean is its personality, its selfie angle, its claim to fame. The solution had to be subtle, clever, and above all safe. Engineers tried a bunch of wild ideas: giant lead weights, deep anchors, even electric currents to dry out the soil. They stacked hundreds of tons of lead on the north side, hoping to counterbalance the tilt. They drilled deep into the earth, trying to anchor the foundation to something solid. They even ran electric currents through the ground, hoping to dry out the clay and make it firmer. Each attempt was a high-stakes experiment, with the world's eyes watching every move. Spoiler, most of those flopped. The lead weights helped a little, but not enough. The anchors risked cracking the fragile stone. The electric currents? Not much effect. Some fixes even made things worse, causing the tower to lean faster. It was a race against time, and the pressure was intense. Every failed attempt brought the tower closer to disaster. Enter the winning move, under excavation. This was the game changer, the bold idea that finally worked. Instead of trying to push the tower upright, engineers decided to let gravity do the work. They would carefully remove small amounts of soil from beneath the higher side, allowing the tower to settle back, millimeter by millimeter, into a safer position. Imagine gently scooping sand out from under your wobbly table. Same principle. If you've ever tried to fix a teetering table at a restaurant by nudging a napkin or shifting the floor, you get the idea. The engineers used tiny drills and careful hands, removing just enough earth to let the tower settle without sudden shifts or cracks. It was delicate, painstaking work, like performing surgery on a sleeping giant. In 2000, a team drilled 41 holes under the tower's north side and carefully removed 70 tons of soil. That's about the weight of a fully loaded Boeing 737. The process was slow and methodical, with sensors tracking every tiny movement. If the tower shifted too quickly, they stopped and adjusted. The goal was to coax the tower, not force it, back to a safer angle. Not all at once though. They took about a year, inching the tower back bit by bit. Each day the team would check their measurements, celebrate a tiny victory, and then get back to work. It was a masterclass in patience and precision. The world held its breath as the tower slowly, almost imperceptibly straightened, just enough to be safe, but not enough to lose its legendary lean. Oh, and just in case things got wild, steel cables were ready to hold the tower steady, like a safety harness for a stone supermodel. These massive cables were anchored deep into the ground, ready to catch the tower if anything went wrong. It was a high-wire act, with centuries of history hanging in the balance. End result? The tilt shrank by half a degree, bringing the tower back to its 1800s swagger. It's still leaning, still iconic, but now it's stable enough to welcome millions of visitors every year. The engineers didn't erase the tower's past. They preserved it, quirks and all, for future generations to marvel at. Today, it's stable, safe, and still rocking that iconic lean. Proof that sometimes the best fixes are all about working with history, not against it. The Leaning Tower of Pisa stands as a monument not just to medieval ambition, but to modern ingenuity and respect for the past. Next time you see a photo of that famous tilt, remember, it's not just a happy accident, but a carefully preserved miracle of engineering, clay, and a whole lot of patience. If you enjoyed this story and want to see more amazing feats of engineering, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and share this video with your friends. Your support helps us bring more fascinating stories like this to you. Thanks for watching.